Okay, let's unpack this deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a specific stack of sources. These are focusing on a few digital assets, really grabbing headlines, sparking conversations. This is around June of 2025.
Yeah, we've pulled insights directly from a piece that zeroes in on three particular altcoins. They've been getting quite a bit of attention lately.
Right. And our mission for you in this deep dive, well, it's to get you quickly informed. What are these coins about? What's their core pitch, at least as presented in the material we looked at?
And crucially, what are the, key questions or maybe challenges that the source highlights about them?
Exactly. So, first up, the source introduces us to Canto. How does the material position this one?
Well, what's really interesting about Canto, as the source lays it out, is its fundamental pitch. It aims to be a free public infrastructure layer, specifically for DeFi, decentralized finance.
Free, huh? That feels pretty distinct in the crypto space. Why is that its angle?
Yeah, it's framed in the source as like a very deliberate move towards no staking fees, no rent seeking. The goal seems to be pure permissionless finance, built on infrastructure that isn't trying to extract value from users or developers.
Okay.
And technically, it's EVM compatible, so
Okay.
built in a way that's familiar if you've worked on, say, Ethereum. It even has its own decentralized exchange and lending markets built directly into the protocol itself.
Ah, interesting. And the source notes it gained traction partly because it's seen as an anti-VC chain, right? Appealing to folks who maybe want projects less tied to traditional venture capital.
Right, exactly, really emphasizing that community alignment. But the key question the source poses about Canto is, well, can this free infrastructure model actually scale? And can it remain sustainable beyond its current sort of niche community? That's the big question mark.
Got it. Okay, shifting gears a bit. The next one takes us back really to the foundation of crypto.
That would be Stacks. The piece we looked at frames it as a layer one solution, essentially adding a new capability layer. And its explicit purpose is bringing smart contracts and, Web3 functionality directly onto the Bitcoin network.
So wait, it lets you build applications on Bitcoin, but without actually changing Bitcoin itself.
Precisely. That's the core idea.
Wow.
It settles transactions directly on the Bitcoin base layer, so it inherits Bitcoin security. And it uses a smart contract language called Clarity. The source notes this was designed specifically with predictability and security in mind for building on Bitcoin.
Okay.
And this approach, according to the source, well, it opens the door for things like NFTs, DeFi apps, various decentralized applications, all leveraging Bitcoin stability.
Makes sense. And the main challenge, the source flags for Stacks, what's the hurdle there?
Developer adoption, mostly. While the technical approach is pretty distinct, maybe even powerful, the question is, will enough developers actually choose to build using its specific method and language compared to, well, all the other ecosystems out there?
Right, the competition. Okay. And finally, the material brings up what it actually calls the most controversial project of the three, Worldcoin.
Yeah, this one certainly stands out, doesn't it? The fundamental concept, as described in the source. It involves scanning people's eyes using these specialized devices called orbs to verify unique human identity. And in exchange for this eye scan, users get cryptocurrency.
And it's backed by some prominent names, including Sam Altman from OpenAI, right?
Yes, that backing is definitely mentioned in the source. The stated aim of Worldcoin is ambitious to build a global identity and financial protocol. Now, the source is pretty careful to present the very different perspectives surrounding this project. It's quite polarized.
Right. So on one side, supporters, as presented in the material, they view this verified human identity as potentially, well, a prerequisite for things like enabling universal basic income or maybe ensuring fairer distribution of resources, especially in a future maybe dominated by AI.
But then, on the other hand, critics also quoted or referenced in the source are highly vocal. They label the project as potentially dystopian, dangerous even, mainly due to the collection of sensitive biometric data. That's the core concern.
Yeah, understandable concern. Regardless of the differing views, though, the source makes it clear Worldcoin is scaling rapidly, and its token, WLD, has become one of the most discussed, maybe the most discussed, in 2025, for better or worse.
Absolutely. It's generating a lot of noise.
So, okay, we've explored three projects taking, really different paths here. Canto trying to build this free, almost anti-establishment DeFi layer.
Hmm.
Stacks aiming to expand Bitcoin's capabilities, bring Web3 to it.
Right.
And Worldcoin tackling identity with this highly debated biometrics-based approach.
You know, we've touched on the core pitch of each,
Yeah.
as described in the source material we reviewed.
Yeah.
And also those key questions or challenges they face, whether that's scaling and sustainability for Canto,
Yeah.
developer uptake for Stacks, or navigating, frankly, intense public and regulatory controversy for WorldCoin.
So thinking about these distinct models, their stated goals, and the significant questions each one raises, based on this deep dive into the source material we covered, which of these three are you watching right now, or perhaps even holding? Something to think about.